A major concern for people that are investing in property in Brisbane is whether or not that property is in a flood zone. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you exactly how you can avoid purchasing an investment property in a flood zone up here in Brisbane. Now, unfortunately, due to the world, we can't really avoid rain, we can't really avoid cyclones, we can't really avoid bushfires, we can't avoid natural disasters at all. We have no control over them. So all we can do is make sure that we do our research and do our due diligence to ensure that we avoid purchasing properties in areas that can be majorly affected by natural disasters. Up here in Brisbane, as we all know, in 2011, there was the devastating floods that absolutely smashed so much of the Brisbane market and affected so many people and so many homes. It was devastating, just like the fires in Western Sydney, just like the fires in northern Melbourne recently destroyed so many people, so many homes, and affected so many people. And just like in Sydney and in Melbourne, you can avoid buying properties in fire zones. Same thing in Brisbane. You can avoid buying properties in flood zones. You just need to make sure that you do your necessary due diligence. So when we find a property that looks suitable for an investor, the very first thing that we will do is we will jump onto the local council website and do a flood search. It's as simple as that. Wherever you're purchasing, make sure that you jump onto the local council website and figure out a way to do a flood search on that property. If you can't do an accurate flood search on the property that you're considering, what you can do is you can actually email the local council or call somebody in the local council and get them to look into it in a bit more detail for you. So for us, we buy a lot of properties in Moreton Bay Regional Council, which kind of ranges from northwest Brisbane to far north Brisbane as well. In that particular council, you can jump onto their website, you can go to the flood reports, you can enter the address, and then you can download a flood report which will break down all of these different types of flooding that can occur. So you've got overland flow, you've got natural rain, you've got stormwater, all of these different types of flooding that can occur, and it can actually tell you the likelihood and the percentage of that particular property being affected by floods. It even looks at the longer term astronomical flood impact when sea levels rise and future potential natural disasters such as bad weather conditions. So it really breaks down everything for you. Now for us, if anything can potentially be affected by more than just 1%, we don't even consider that property. It goes straight into the bin and we don't even look at it. The reason being is because if you do buy a property in a flood zone, it may actually impact the long-term performance of that property, which is something that we want to completely avoid. So also the resale value, but on top of that, you just do not want to deal with the headache of having a property that's going to be flooded either. You don't want the insurance hassles, you don't want the tenant hassles, you just want to completely avoid it all in all. So if you're buying properties in Brisbane City Council or Logan City Council or Ipswich City Council, once again, you can do the exact same thing. You can jump on their council website, you can search for the property, you can download the flood reports. If you're having issues with that, you can actually jump onto, or you can actually email that local council and get some more feedback from them. So when you're doing your property research, make sure that you are doing your flood checks, make sure that you're avoiding properties that are in flood zones because we don't want that to affect the long-term performance. Now, if you find yourself, you've got a little bit further down the line, maybe you've got a property under contract, you can actually also get your solicitor to do a flood check for you as well, which is always recommended. Not only do your own due diligence and check if there's any flooding, but once you've got that property under contract, make sure that you've got your solicitors to double check and look at the flooding in that particular area. Just because you really need to make sure that you've done all of the necessary due diligence to avoid that. So that's how you avoid purchasing properties in Brisbane that are affected by flooding. Make sure that when you're looking for an investment property on your own, that you are checking for the flooding. And if you're working with a buyer's agent, make sure that they're checking that flooding for you as well. Thanks so much for tuning in.